What's up, guys? We are back with a full slate of MLB action here on Saturday, May 11th. We had a big winning day on Friday. We cashed the Chicago Cubs plus 114. The Yankees minus 136 came through for us. We also had the Baltimore Orioles minus 136. That one worked out. We had the Phillies minus 1.5 as our biggest play of the day. That was a no sweat winner. We also got the Royals minus 116. That one came through for us thanks to some 8th or 9th inning. I can't remember scoring from them. So that worked out in a big way. And yeah, other than that, we took one loss on the day. That'll be okay. We saw the Dodgers score only one run in their first game against the Padres, so not something you really expect to see out of that offense. I don't really feel like we were on the wrong side of that pick, but oh well, we ended up getting one wrong. 5 in one day. We'll definitely take that every day of the week. Now let's see if we can keep things rolling here heading into the weekend. We've got a big Saturday slate, so let's get after it. First, do me a big favor and hit that like button. It's a great way to show some support for the channel and all the work that we do here every single day. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe. It's 100% free and can keep you from missing out on these picks. Our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description and go over there and join our free email list and check out our top confidence plays on all the major sports. Comment below with all the bets you're looking at today and we'll give you our best advice on all of them. We respond to absolutely every single comment, so let us know anything you want to say about my picks, these videos, or anything you see here. As always, our final picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into our first game of the day, the Minnesota Twins taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. The Twins come into this game fresh off a 3-2 win there in game 1 of this series, so they probably feel great about that, and the fact they've won 4 of their last 5 overall, so things are looking pretty good right now in Minnesota. They're 23-15 on the season, handing the ball in this game to Simeon Woods-Richardson, who is off to a 1-0 start with a 1.74 ERA. He comes into this game fresh off of, I would say, his best start of the year so far, guys. It was against the Seattle Mariners, so not the toughest hitting team in the MLB, but in that game he went 6 innings and gave up only a single hit while striking out 8 and walking only 1. Obviously, he gave up no runs in that game, so a very dominant outing for him there. He hasn't really faced a lot of tough hitting opponents this season. I mean, he's faced Seattle once, the Chicago White Sox twice. Obviously, they're like the worst hitting team in the majors. And in his first start of the year, he went up against the Detroit Tigers. So not really a murderer's row of opponents there, but in general, he's looked really, really good. And all you can do is pitch well against the teams that you're going out there against. So giving up 7 hits a couple times to the White Sox is a little bit of a concern, but looking so dominant against Seattle, I think we can definitely have at least some faith here in him in this matchup. The Twins' offense in general, while they haven't looked like dominant or anything like that, are definitely trending in a positive direction here. I mean, they only scored 3 runs in the first game of this series, but they scored 11, 6, and 6 runs in the three last games of their series against the Mariners. So that's all very encouraging. We see Ryan Jeffers off to a good start for sure. He's kind of leading the way for them right now. They're 11th in the majors in runs scored, 11th in the majors in on-base percentage. They're all the way up to 6th in the majors in slugging percentage, guys, which is pretty impressive. I mean, overall, really not a lot of complaints about this offense right now, and they're going to hope they can keep things rolling here and score some runs against the Toronto Blue Jays here in game 2 of this series. Toronto comes into this one, they're down to 17-21 on the season, not having the best time here recently. I mean, they're all the way down to the bottom of the AL East standings. They're handing the ball in this one to Kevin Gausman. He's off to a 2-3 start to the season with a 3.78 ERA, so good, but I would say not necessarily amazing numbers, but he's looked very, very good in his last 2 starts, guys. His last time out against the Washington Nationals, a team that's been hitting the ball a little bit better here at this point in the season. He went 5 1/3 innings, gave up 3 hits, no runs. He struck out 8 and had 2 walks. In the start before that, though, he was very impressive against the LA Dodgers, guys. He went 7 innings, gave up 5 hits, only 1 earned run. He did give up a home run in that game, but he struck out 5 and walked none. That kind of a performance against the Dodgers, that will give me a lot of faith in you as a starter. I mean, the Dodgers are an amazing, amazing offense, as we've seen all season long. So obviously, shutting them down, very, very impressive. What has not been impressive this season, though, has been the Toronto Blue Jays bats, guys. They have, yeah, just big old yikes from me. I mean, their leading batting average guy right now is Justin Turner, and he's batting .261. This team is 27th in the majors in runs scored, 18th in on-base percentage. Team batting average is 22nd in the majors. Over the last few games, they've scored 2, 5, 1. They did score 8 runs in one of their games against the Nationals, so I guess that's something, but just in general, we are not seeing them put up enough runs to be competitive. Regardless of how good the pitching is, you just have to find a way to get some more runs across the plate. Looking at the numbers for this game, overall, we see the Twins are plus 136. We see the Blue Jays are minus 154, so the odds makers have a lot more faith here in Gausman than they have in Simeon Woods-Richardson, and I guess I can kind of understand that. I mean, he hasn't looked good against a decent hitting team, but does Toronto really qualify as a decent hitting team? Do they ever really deserve to be minus 154 this season? I don't know, guys. It seems a little bit tough to me. I mean, looking at the Twins, they're a pretty good road team. They're 12-7 on the road. Toronto's only 8-8 at home, so that makes me lean a little bit towards the Twins, and you're getting me at plus 136, so I think that's going to be our lean in this one. I like the Twins plus 136. It's not very likely to be a pinned comment play, and while the over-under for this one is a little bit interesting, if you can find some 8s, there's still some 8s out there at time of recording. We do see the Toronto Blue Jays are showing some trends towards the under, but not really enough to get me on board against a number like 8. So slight lean towards the under, but a bigger lean towards Minnesota plus 136 playing on the road here. Next up, guys, we got the Arizona Diamondbacks going on the road to take on the Baltimore Orioles. The Diamondbacks come into this game fresh off of a Game 1 loss. They lost Game 1 of this series 4-2. It snapped their little winning streak there. They're sitting at 18-21 on the season and handing the ball in this game to Ryan Nelson. He's 2-2 on the year with a 5.23 ERA, and his last time out didn't go amazing against the San Diego Padres. He went 5 innings, but he gave up 8 hits, 4 earned runs. He gave up a home run in that game, so just not the best start. Not exactly what you're hoping to see. His start before that was a very, very short one against the San Francisco Giants. His start before that, he was very good against the Cardinals, but he's definitely looked hittable this season. This is not an ace by any stretch of the imagination, and while the Diamondbacks offense early in the year was definitely able to carry this pitching staff a bit, that has not been the case right now. They are still 5th in the majors in runs scored, but things are definitely cooling off. I mean, despite going on this long winning streak, they only scored 2, 5, 4, 6 runs over their last 4 games. Like, that's not a super impressive stretch there. I mean, not a ton of positives for this team. Their on-base percentage and run scored numbers I expect to continue to fall. They've definitely been falling here over the last couple of weeks at least now, it feels like. And their team batting average down to 9th in the majors. Team slugging percentage is also I'm not gonna say it's plummeting, guys, but they're seeing some correction to what is actually reasonable to expect out of this squad. They're gonna need to score some runs here, guys, going up against the Baltimore Orioles, who did only score 4 runs in the first game of this series, but have been a very good offensive team overall. They're 25-12 on the season, and they're handing the ball in this game to John Means, who is off to a 1-0 start, still sporting a 0.00 ERA after dominating the Cincinnati Reds in his one start of the season. He went 7 innings, gave up only 3 hits in that outing. He struck out 8, walked to none. This guy came in and is just looking insanely sharp right off the bat. He's a big left-hander. He's looking great right now. We're very, very excited about his stuff, and I'm sure the Orioles are very happy to have him out there and hope that he can stay healthy. Their offense is looking amazing this season. I mean, and just right now they're hitting the ball pretty well too. They're 7th in the majors in runs scored, 10th in batting average. They're all the way down in 20th in on-base percentage, so that would be a slight concern if their slugging percentage wasn't so crazy, guys. They're 2nd in the majors in slugging percentage with a 4.44 slugging percentage. That is wild stuff. We see Gunnar Henderson off to a great start. Just in general, this team hitting the ball really, really well. There's no downsides. They only scored 4 runs in Game 1 of this series, so for them, that honestly feels like kind of a down day, so I expect them to be out here to hit the cover off the ball, and looking at the numbers for this game, the odds makers definitely agree with me. We're looking at the Orioles minus 158 in this game. The Diamondbacks are plus 150. We see Arizona is 9-10 on the road, and Baltimore is very, very good at home. They're 13-7 at home this season, so guys, just in general, especially taking this pitching matchup into account, we're going to be leaning pretty hard towards the Baltimore Orioles minus 158. I think this is a good spot for them. I don't like them quite enough to take them against the run line, but I'm not going to get greedy here. I think Baltimore minus 158 is a great play. Very, very likely to end up in our pinned comment. And if you want to look at the over-under for this game, it's sitting at 8.5. We see Baltimore with a slight lean, a slight trend towards the over. Arizona is an under team. They're 22-15-2 to the under, but I'm not super interested in taking the over-under in this game. Definitely give me Baltimore minus 158. Next up, guys, we got the Chicago Cubs going on the road here to take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Cubs come into this game fresh off of a 7-2 win in Game 1. We had that one, so thanks a lot, Cubs, for coming through for us. They've got to be feeling pretty good. They're getting healthy, and things just worked out great in that first game. They're handing the ball in this one to Justin Steele, who's off to a pretty good start to his year. I mean, he's still 0-0, but he's sporting a .96 ERA, so that'll definitely work against the Texas Rangers. In his first start, he gave only a single run on 3 hits over 4 2/3. He did only go 4 2/3 in his second start also, but he didn't give up a single run against the San Diego Padres. He gave up only 3 hits, had 2 strikeouts, 1 walk, so he's not necessarily somebody we can trust to go deep into the game per se, but I think they'll be looking to stretch him out if possible, and he's clearly got very good stuff, so we can expect solid things from him. And with the Cubs offense starting to get healthy, I think we can expect good things from him also. I mean, they scored 7 runs in Game 1 of this series. It seems like they're about to get back on track here. They're 12th in the majors majors in runs scored overall, which obviously isn't amazing, but they're 13th in on-base percentage, 20th in team batting average, and 16th in slugging percentage. Like, all of those numbers kind of add up to at least a mediocre, at least a decent offense, and that might be all you need here in this one. They're hoping they can keep scoring some runs, keep those pitchers doing well out there, going up against the Pirates, who they're on a 3-game losing streak now, not having a great time, but they've got a lot of hype coming into this game. We've got Paul Skeens going out there on the mound for his MLB debut. It's going to be very, very exciting to see what he actually does. There's been all this talk about how dominant he's been in the minors and how he needs to be up here in the majors and yada, yada, yada. But we all know in the MLB, they're going to keep guys down in the minors just to make sure that everything lines up how they want it to with contracts and stuff like that. So whatever, we all knew it was going to take a minute to get him up here, but now that he's here, it's going to be really exciting to see what he's actually got. Looking at the Pirates offense in general, it's going to be, he's going to need to have, Skeens is going to need to pitch really well because this offense is not producing runs. They are 27th in the majors in runs scored. They're only batting .220 as a team overall. They're 22nd in the majors with an on-base percentage of only .301. Like, this is just not going to work, guys. This is not an offense that is going to put up a lot of runs. It looked good there at the beginning of the season. It was like, oh my God, maybe, the Pirates have a little something here, but no longer does it appear to be that way to me. I mean, 29th in slugging percentage, 22nd in on-base percentage, not a team that's going to be putting up a lot of runs. And the odds makers seem to be pretty high here on Skeens. I mean, they've got the Pirates at -105. The Cubs are -110. We've got an over-under of 7 in this game. I mean, Justin Steele's been good. I don't think we're that worried about the Cubs bullpen necessarily, especially going up against the Pirates, who are not a good hitting team. So I don't know if this is going to make it as a pinned comment play, guys, but we're going to go ahead and fade the rookie here. I'm going to be on Chicago -110 in this game. I'm not interested in the over-under, despite both teams showing trends to the under, as I just don't trust this rookie enough. Things can be tough out there in your first start of the year. You can look back. We've had several exciting young starters not get off to the best starts in their major league debuts this season. I think we could see this once again. Even though the Cubs aren't the strongest hitting team, go ahead and give me Chicago -110 in this one. Next up, guys, we're going to the Atlanta Braves going on the road to take on the New York Mets. The Braves come into this game fresh off of a win in game 1 of the series. They won 4-2 in New York, so that one had to feel pretty good for them. They're 23-12 on the season, and handing the ball in this game to Max Fried, who's off to a 2-1 start with a 4.23 ERA. His last time out, he looked good, not dominant, but he was going against the LA Dodgers, so got to cut him a little bit of slack there, taking on one of the best hitting teams in the majors. He went 7 innings, gave up 4 runs on 4 hits. He did give up 2 home runs, which isn't great, but I mean, when you're taking on such an elite offense, things are going to happen. He had 7 strikeouts, 3 walks in that one, but prior to that start, which, like we said, not a disaster, he looked dominant against Seattle, dominant against Miami, so I think we can feel pretty good about how he's throwing the ball right now, and we can feel decent, maybe not amazing, but I'll say decent about the way the Braves offense is looking. They've scored 4, 5, 4, 1, 2, and 3 runs over their last several games. That's over their last 6 overall, so not amazing, but not terrible. It seems like they're trending in a positive direction. They've been a little bit banged up. I mean, they're going to need to get healthy. They're going to need to find a way to get everybody back, but it'll be interesting to see how they do down the stretch, but I don't think we have to be too scared right now away from this offense. I mean, they're still 7th in the majors in on-base percentage, 13th in the majors in runs scored, and we see they're able to manufacture some runs, and their pitching's been pretty freaking good. I mean, team batting average of 257, that's 6th in the majors. That'll play. And their team slugging percentage is 4th in the majors. This isn't a terrible offensive team, and they're gonna hope they can keep things rolling here, going up against the New York Mets, who are 18-19 on the season after losing game 1 of this series, and probably not too happy with how things look right here out of the gate. They're handing the ball in this game to Christian Scott, who's going to be making his 2nd start of the year. His first one, he looked pretty good against the Tampa Bay Rays, guys. He went 6 2/3 innings, gave it 5 hits, only a single run. He struck out 6 and only walked 1. Obviously, he didn't go crazy deep into the game, and it was against Tampa Bay, but they've been hitting the ball better lately, so I don't think we really need to look this start as, not something special. This is a pretty good start out there. Nothing to complain about, especially in your first start of the season. So the question really in this game for me is going to be, can the Mets score some runs? I mean, they've been having some trouble, guys. I mean, they did look decent in that series against the St. Louis Cardinals, but they didn't look very good in that series against Tampa Bay. I mean, at times, I guess. I mean, they did play some high-scoring games in that one, but they weren't high-scoring winning games, so it's been tough to find production on this roster. I mean, Starling Marte, not necessarily looking amazing to me. Pete Alonso has hit some home runs, but I don't think we have a ton of faith here in this offense. It's been strictly middle of the road, and they're going to need to find a way to manufacture at least some runs in this game, you would think. But looking at the numbers in this one, we see the Braves are pretty significant favorites. They're minus 155 in this one. I think that's mostly based on Fried and just on them being a better team overall, of course. But looking at the over-under for this game, we see it's at 7.5 or 8. You can find both numbers out there. We see Atlanta is a fairly significant under team this season. They're 19, 13, and 2 to the under. The Mets are pretty much a 500 over-under team. So in general in this game, guys, I'm a little bit scared away from the side. But with two guys off to pretty decent starts pitching right here, I think we're going to actually lean towards under 8. I don't think this is a game that's going to end up as one of our pinned comment plays, but it's got a outside shot at ending up in there. But we're going to go ahead and take under 8 in this one and just sit back and see what actually happens. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the New York Yankees going on the road to take on the Tampa Bay Rays. The Yankees come into this one fresh off of a 2-0 win in game 1 of this season. Have to feel good about that. We saw Anthony Rizzo hit a home run. We got this game right, so that felt pretty great. The Yankees are 26-14 on the season, so motoring right along and handing the ball in this game to Nestor Cortez, who's off to a 1-3 start with a 3.72 ERA. His last time out, he looked good, but maybe not great, but definitely good. I mean, against the Tigers, he went 6 1/3 innings, gave up 2 earned runs on 3 hits. He struck out 9 in that game, so that's pretty noticeable. Only a single walk, so I think we can feel pretty good about that. And it was a bounce-back performance against him. He didn't look great against the Orioles in his start before that, so we'll definitely take that from him. And he's got a pretty good offense behind him, guys. The Yankees did only score 2 runs in game 1 of this series, but they've been, an amazing offensive team here lately. They've been putting up runs. They've all season long been a great on-base percentage team. They're second in the majors in on-base percentage with a 337 mark. That'll definitely work. 188 runs scored has them 6th in the majors. Team batting average and slugging percentage numbers are on the rise. We can feel good about how Aaron Judge is swinging the bat now. Juan Soto's been hitting the ball well all season long, so nothing negative to report about this team, and they're going to hope they can keep things rolling here, going up against the Tampa Bay Rays, who are looking pretty decent, or they were, I guess. I mean, they lost a game to the Chicago White Sox at the end of that series, so not a great look there. They're only 19-20 on the season, and gonna need to get something figured out here. They're handing the ball here to Zach Littell, who's off to a good start, but he's only 1-2 with a 3.00 ERA. Not getting the run support he needs. His last time out, he did look very, very good against the Mets. He went 6 innings, gave up only a single earned run on 6 hits. He struck out 7 and walked none. He has not walked a batter in his last 4 starts, guys. That's pretty solid stuff. He hasn't exactly been going up against elite hitting teams, though. I mean, he's faced the Angels twice, the Tigers, the White Sox, and then the Mets. So he's going to be facing a little bit tougher hitting opponents than he's used to in this game. And yeah, the Tampa Bay Rays offense in general this season hasn't looked amazing. I think they are trending in a positive direction, but their last 2 games kind of threw a wrench in that whole trend because they've only scored 1 run over their last 18 innings of play. Like, that's not going to get the job done, guys. We don't see anybody off to a particularly insane start for them. They're only 19th in runs scored, 14th in on-base percentage. They're 22nd in the majors in slugging percentage, guys. That's just not a recipe to be scoring a ton of runs. We're a little bit worried about this offense heading into the game, and it seems like the odds makers are also. They got the Yankees as significant favorites. They're minus 125. We see the Rays are plus 110. We've got an over-under of 8 in this game. The Yankees are a pretty solid road team. They're 13-8 on the road this season. Tampa Bay is 13-11 at home, but with Nestor Cortez out there and he looking very solid here lately, and with Zach Littell, despite the fact that he's looked very good, he's going to be taking on a much tougher opponent than he's used to recently. I think we're going to lean towards the Yankees minus 125 in this game. I'm not sure if this is going to end up being a pinned comment play. We're not interested in the over-under at all, but we'll see if this actually ends up in our pinned comment. It's a very reasonable price here on the Yankees, who are a very good team, so we definitely have to give it some consideration. Next up, guys, we're going to do something we don't normally do. We're actually looking at a game that has no lines out and one of their pitchers is unconfirmed, but we want to get this in there. It may end up in our pinned comment plays. You'll have to check back later. It's unlikely that it'll be posted tonight because we just have to wait and see on this one, but we've got the Philadelphia Phillies going on the road to take on the Miami Marlins. The Phillies got a very comfortable 8-2 win for us in game 1 of this series to put another win on the board for us. That was our biggest bet of the day, so that one felt pretty good. The Phillies are 27-12 to start the season, and they're hitting the ball in this one to Taijuan Walker. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. He's off to a 2-0 start, but sporting a 6.39 ERA, so not really having the best time here out of the gate, but he's about to take on not the best hitting team, so that's got to feel at least decent. His last time out, though, he was trending in a positive direction against the San Francisco Giants. He went 6 1/3 innings, gave up only 3 earned runs on 5 hits. He did give up a home run. He's given up at least 1 home run in each of his 2 starts this season, so that's a little bit concerning, but against the Giants, he did strike out 7 and walk only 1, so that's a positive trend, and I think we just kind of expect him to continue getting better here as he settles into this season. season, and the Phillies bats have been absolutely bonkers this year. I mean, they scored 8 runs in game 1 of the series, and in general, they're just looking great. We see Bryce Harper, he's up to 9 home runs, batting .270 on the season despite missing a little bit of time there. We've got Trey Turner off to a crazy start. Alex Baum is off to an amazing start. They're 4th in the majors in runs scored, 5th in the majors in batting average. They're getting on base at a .332 clip. That'll definitely work. They're 5th in the majors in slugging percentage. Like, this is just a team that can hit the ball, and they're hoping they can keep it going here against the Miami Marlins, who have now lost 4 in a row. They're not having a very good time, especially here taking on some pretty decent opponents. We saw them selling off some guys already. I don't think this is going to be a not a season where the Marlins are trying to win, and man, it just doesn't feel like this team's ever trying to win, to be honest. We see a group of fans are protesting these trades, and like I totally get it. It's got to be insanely frustrating to try and be a Miami Marlins fan, and this team just not been good. They don't have a starter confirmed for this game, but if you look at what their pitching staff has done this season in general, it's very close to the bottom of the league in most of the major categories. I mean, they've only had 8 quality starts this season. Their team earned run average is .521. Like, pretty crazy stuff out there. I mean, their whip is 147. Like, just not great. Not a lot of positives to look at for this pitching staff, and not a lot of positives to look at for this offense either. I mean, they're 29th in the league in on-base percentage, guys. Their last few games, they've scored 2, 1, 2, and 3 runs. Like, just not getting the job done. They're not a good team. They're not a team that's really designed to win. I don't know what this franchise is really doing. I don't think anybody does, so we'll just have to see what they can do, but not very high on the Marlins in this game in general, as you can tell. We're going to wait and see when the lines come out. This could end up being down in the pinned comment, so keep a close eye on that, but we're very likely to be on the Phillies against the run line again, even with Walker out there on the mound. We don't have a ton of faith in him, but against the Marlins, we've got enough to probably side with them, and I think we'll see the Phillies continue to hit the cover off the ball. So definitely leaning towards the Phillies in this game. Don't know what the numbers are going to be yet. Keep an eye on that pinned comment. Next up, guys, we got the Washington Nationals going on the road to take on the Boston Red Sox. The Nationals come to this game fresh off a 5-1 win in game 1 of the series. They're up to 19-18 on the season, and man, Washington all of a sudden not looking so bad. I mean, they're in there battling. Obviously, they're not close to the top of the NL East, but they're putting up some fights. They're a much better team than a lot of people, including myself, would have expected them to be this season. They're handing the ball in this game to Jake Irvin, who's off to a respectable start. He's only 3-2 on the season, but he's got a 3.72 ERA, and he's kind of coming off a little bit of a tough outing. He gave up 4 unearned runs on 5 hits over 5 innings to the Toronto Blue Jays, but this guy's had some good outings. I mean, he had 1 good outing, 1 terrible outing against the Dodgers. He had a good outing against the Marlins. He dominated the Oakland A's earlier in the season, so definitely some positives to look at for him, along with some tough starts, but in general, you have to feel pretty decent about how the Nationals are swinging the bats here. I mean, they've looked definitely good. All their major statistics are on the rise. They've scored 5, 6, 3, 11, like over their last 4 games. Those are respectable numbers. Those are very good numbers. I mean, we've seen CJ Abrams, he's kind of been their solid hitter for the season, but we've seen Luis Garcia Jr. get off to a very good start. He's up to batting .318. He's getting on base at a .370 clip. Like, those are very respectable numbers. We've seen them look very, very good. I mean, this is a team definitely on the rise right now, hoping they can keep this rolling against the Boston Red Sox, who are not exactly a team on the rise. They've now lost 3 in a row. They've actually lost 6 of their last 7 games overall to fall to 19-19 on the season. They're hitting the ball in this one to Cooper Criswell, who's 1-2 with a 1.74 ERA. So he's been absolutely dealing out there. He comes into this game fresh off of a good start against the Twins. Not a great start by any means. I mean, he only went 4 1/3 innings, gave up 5 hits, only 1 earned run in there. So that's definitely a positive, but his start before that against the Giants was very, very good. He has just been very, very good this season in general, as you could tell from his numbers. Like, this guy has been dealing out there. The Red Sox bats, however, not having a great time lately. Over their last 3 games, they've only scored 1, 0, and 2 runs, respectively. So 3 runs over their last 2 games. Yikes. Not positive trends coming out of them. I mean, they're 10th in the majors in on-base percentage, but not exactly a number that I think is on the rise. They've only scored 164 runs this season, which is 14th in the majors. I'd say this is pretty much a near league average offense when it all boils down to it, guys, and that's a tough place to be. However, though, we're looking at some numbers for this game. We see the odds makers, they're pretty heavy on the Red Sox. They've got Boston minus 150 in this game. We've got the Nationals at plus 132. And we've got an over-under of 8.5 in this one, which is a little bit interesting when you look at some of the trends for this one. I mean, we see Criswell, very, very good starter. We see Jake Irvin as definitely a decent, maybe not elite, but definitely decent starter. And we got an over-under of 8.5 with both teams showing trends to the under. Guys, I think we're going to be on the under in this game. I mean, Washington's swinging a little bit hotter of bats, but I don't think they're going to be doing that against Criswell here. And Washington is 19-16-2 to the under. Boston is 21-14-3 to the under, so they've been an under team pretty much all season long. Go ahead and give me the under 8.5 in this game, and I think this has a very good chance to end up in the pinned comment. Next up, guys, we're going to have the Cleveland Guardians going on the road to take on the Chicago White Sox. The Guardians have actually lost the first 2 games of this series. It's pretty wild stuff. Not what you would expect it to see. We saw them get dominated by Crochet. Like, he struck out 11. That's a career high for him. Like, just not a great look here from the Guardians. They're having a hard time. They're banged up, and yeah, things are just not working out. They're 24-15 on the season, handing the ball in this game to Tristan McKenzie, who's 2-2 on the year with a 3.97 ERA. His last time out, he looked very good against the Detroit Tigers. He gave up only 3 hits and a single earned run over 5 innings of work. In his start before that, he looked very good against the Houston Astros, and honestly, his last 4 starts have all been very, very solid. Like, the guy has looked good. He hasn't gone super deep into games necessarily, but in general, when he's out on the mound, he is looking pretty reasonable and keeping his team in a position to win some games. But the Cleveland offense hasn't looked great. They've only scored 3, 2, 5 runs over their last 3 games. Like, not amazing. They're clearly missing Quan out there, which makes sense. Any team would be. We've seen Jose Ramirez get off to a very good start. Josh Naylor's hitting the ball well, and they're doing their best to keep this team in the top 10 in the majors, but these numbers are going to be going down, guys. I mean, they're only 9th in the majors now in runs scored. They're 16th in on-base percentage. I think that's more around where they're going to end up, especially with Quan out for quite a while, it's sounding like. Team batting average not looking amazing. Team slugging percentage is about league average. Like, I don't think we're going to be looking at this team as an elite offensive team here in a couple weeks' time. Looking at their opponent in this one, the Chicago White Sox are suddenly coming alive a little bit. They're up to 11-28 on the season. They've scored 6, 2, and 4 runs, 6, 3, and 4 runs over their last 3 games, and they're handing the ball in this one to Mike Clevinger, who's off to an 0-1 start with a 13.50 ERA. He's only making his 2nd start of the year, guys. He got shelled in his first one. He only went 2 innings against the Tampa Bay Rays, gave up 4 runs on 6 hits. He walked 4 and struck out none. Just a terrible, terrible season debut. This guy isn't going to be that bad, obviously, but man, his stuff right out of the gate did not exactly fill me with confidence, and it's not like the Rays have been like the best hitting team this season, although they've been coming on a bit lately, so I don't know. We'll see what we get from him in this one, but not a starter I'm going to have a ton of faith in here. The White Sox bats in general, despite their recent success, they're still looking like one of the worst offenses in the majors. I think they're still probably the worst. I mean, it's hard to tell. You're really like, very small margins here at the very bottom of the standings. They're 30th in runs scored, 30th in on-base percentage, 30th in slugging percentage, but they're up to 29th, guys, in team batting average, batting .212 as a team. So, yeah, this is not a good hitting team. No way around that. Not a good hitting team, but they've been doing a little bit better lately, but how are they going to look against Tristan McKenzie, who's been pitching well lately? I don't know. We'll have to actually see. The Guardians are -160. That seems like a little bit steep of a price to me. We've got the White Sox at +142, and we've got an over-unders of 8 or 7.5 right now, so kind of a pick your own adventure there. I'm not really interested in the over-under in this game, guys, but I do have a little bit of interest here in Cleveland -160. I don't think we're going to see them lose 3 games in a row to the Chicago White Sox, despite the fact they're playing on the road. I mean, Cleveland is 12-8 on the road. Not terrible. The White Sox are 6-12 at home. Obviously, they haven't been a good team this year. They're playing better recently, but can that really keep up for 3 games in a row here against a clearly better team? I don't really think so. Go ahead and give me Cleveland -160 in this one. Definite shot this ends up in the pinned comment. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Cincinnati Reds taking on the San Francisco Giants. The Reds come into this game. They're currently playing right now. We see Cincinnati's up 3-2 in the top of the 6th, so we'll see how that game actually ends up here, but we're going to go ahead and break down this next one. The Reds haven't been having a great time lately. They're riding an 8-game losing streak coming into this first game of their series against the Giants, hoping they can snap that losing streak. They're handing the ball in this game to Nick Lodolo, who's off to a very reasonable start, guys. He's 3-1 with a 2.79 ERA, but he got a little bit roughed up his last time out going up against the Baltimore Orioles. He gave up a home run in that game. He gave up 4 earned runs over 5 innings of work. He struck out 6 and walked 2. I mean, he did all he could. That's a very, very good offense over there for Baltimore, so not a lot of shame in that one. And he was pitching at home in the Great American Ballpark, which is not the easiest place to pitch, as I'm sure all of you know. So we'll cut him a little bit of slack for that start, but we're not really going to be cutting the Reds offense a ton of slack. I mean, they have not been having a good time. They didn't score a lot of runs in their series against the Diamondbacks. They looked terrible, only scoring 2 runs in their entire 3-game series against the Orioles. So this is not a team that's hitting the ball well. It looks like they're hitting the ball here a little bit in game 1 of this series, but I mean, how much faith do we really have in an offense whose leading hitter, Elly De La Cruz, is all the way down to batting 264? He's not having a good time lately. This team is dead last in the majors in team batting average. They're close to dead last in the majors in on-base percentage. This is just not a team we can count on to put up a lot of runs. Just not the case. Going up against the Giants in this one, who obviously haven't been having the best time and could end up losing this game here in game 1 of the series. They're handing the ball to Mason Black, who's off to an 0-1 start with a 10.38 ERA. This is only his second start of the season, guys. He got shelled by the Philadelphia Phillies, so not the easiest team to be making your season debut against. And he didn't have a good time out there, giving up 5 earned runs on 8 hits through 4 1/3 innings. So I think we can expect better things from him in this start, but how much better, that remains to be seen. The Giants' bats have not been amazing this season. I mean, they've been pretty close to a bottom third team in the league. I think they'd like to be league average, but I don't really know if that's going to be part of their journey this season. They're 19th in on-base percentage. Only 146 runs scored this season. That's 23rd in the majors. Like, this is not going to be a great hitting team. I don't think there's any way that happens. Look at the numbers for this game. We see the Reds are minus 115. The Giants are minus 102. So neither one of those numbers really fills us with a ton of excitement. I mean, if you're forcing me to bet this game, I guess go ahead and give me Lodolo. I mean, he's looked good, so give me the Reds minus 115, but I don't think this is going to be making it to the pinned comment. I also am not in love with the over-under in this game. It's at 7.5. We see both of these teams are very close to 50-50 over-under teams, so that's not an over-under that I'm very interested in. I guess the odds makers think the Reds' offense sucks and that the Giants' offense is going to get held down by Lodolo, which makes sense to me, so we'll see how many runs we actually end up with in this game, but like I said, if you're forcing me to bet this one, I guess give me Cincinnati, but I'm not betting this game myself. Rounding into the home stretch here, guys, we've got the Texas Rangers going on the road to take on the Colorado Rockies. The Rangers come into this game. They lost game 1 of this series 4-2, so not exactly what they had in mind. They were a very, very close game all the way down there into the 8th inning where we saw Charlie Blackmon's 2-run double kind of put things over the top there for the Rockies. The Rangers are 22-18 on the season, handing the ball in this one to Andrew Heaney, who's off to an 0-4 start with a 4.50 ERA, but he's been pitching pretty well lately. In his last start, we did see the Rangers get the win over the Athletics, so that had to feel pretty good for him. He gave up only a single earned run, 2 runs overall on 7 hits over 6 innings. He struck out 5 and walked none. He hasn't had a walk over his last 3 starts, so that's pretty encouraging, and he's just been looking very good in general. Hasn't been taking on the toughest opponents, that's for sure, but he does have a solid start this year under his belt against the Atlanta Braves, so that's a pretty decent offense, so we'll definitely give him some credit here. He's been looking good, and the Rangers offense, not looking that hot. I mean, I guess not in game 1 of this series. They did score 12, 4, and 15 runs in their 3 games before that, so we'll give them some credit for that. This team is second in the majors in runs scored. They've used those couple huge scoring games. They scored 12 and 15 in a couple games against the Oakland A's, so we'll give them some credit for that. Although it was against the A's, we're not going to freak out about it, but like I said, second in runs scored, 4th in team batting average, 5th in team on-base percentage, and 11th in slugging percentage, so they'll definitely take that. We've seen Garcia get off to a pretty decent start, but he's all the way down to batting 260 on the season, so that's not something we're going to freak out about. I don't think this is going to be maybe not a super elite offensive team, but like I said, anything could happen, so we'll see where they end up. They're hoping they can keep scoring some runs here at Coors Field, going up against the Rockies, who are only 10-28 on the season, but have now won 2 in a row. Colorado probably feels pretty mediocre about handing the ball here to Ryan Feltner, who's off to a 1-3 start with a 5.54 ERA. He's given up at least 3 runs in each of his last 3 starts, or 4 starts actually. Not looking good. He has faced some decent hitting teams, but his last time out he got shelled by the Pittsburgh Pirates. That is not going to work, guys. He's not had a good start to his season. His stuff hasn't looked that great. Yeah, just not a lot of positives about him. I mean, he took that liner to his head a year ago, and it's great that he's like back in here and everything, but man, stuff not looking that great out there. Not like he's looking scared or anything. I'm just not saying that, but it's just not working out. He's not having a great time, and he's not getting a ton of run support here from the Rockies, although their bats have looked a little bit better over their last, I will say, 3 games. They've scored 6, 9, and 4 runs over their last 3. Obviously, 4 runs in game 1 of this series to get that win, so they'll definitely take that. They're 26th in the majors in runs scored, though, and only 24th in the majors in on-base percentage, so have not been an elite offensive team. There's no way that we're going to give them that kind of credit. And looking at the numbers for this game, guys, we've got the Rangers at minus 154, so the odds makers aren't giving the Rockies any credit either. We've got Colorado at plus 145, and we've got an over-under of 10.5. That seems a little bit high, even at Coors Field for me, but I mean, I see why the odds makers put those big numbers up there in Coors Field. field. Like, it makes sense for sure. We've got the Rangers. They're 12-8 on the road. The Rockies are only 6-10 at home. We don't have any faith in Feltner here. I don't love this price here on the Rangers, but Heaney's looked very good all season long despite his bad record and is like not amazing looking ERA, but he's been pretty good. So I think we're going to lean towards the Texas Rangers minus 154. I think this is kind of a long shot to make it into our pinned comment plays, but it's got a little bit of a chance here. I just don't love the price. Next up on the docket, guys, we've got the LA Dodgers going on the road to take on the San Diego Padres. These two teams are playing right now. They're currently in the middle of the ninth inning with things tied up at 1 run apiece in San Diego. So we'll see who comes out on top. We've got the Dodgers in that one, so we're really hoping they figured things out. But coming into the series, they were looking very, very good. They're riding a 7-game winning streak. They're 26-13 on the season. They're handing the ball in this game to James Paxton, who's off to a fantastic start. He's 4-0 with a 3.06 ERA. He dominated the Atlanta Braves his last time out, giving up only a single earned run on 5 hits over 6 2/3 innings. It was a nice little bounce back from getting knocked around a little bit by the Arizona Diamondbacks. And while he hasn't faced the toughest opponents this year, a solid start against the Braves is not something to turn your nose up at. He's looked very, very good, and obviously the Dodgers offense has looked amazing, although they've only scored a single run here in this game against the one of the series, so that's not exactly what we were hoping for. But Ohtani's looked amazing. Like, we've seen everybody on this roster looking great. No downsides for this offense, guys. They've scored 214 runs this season. They're first in all the major categories. Like, things are just looking fantastic for them. There's no downside. I mean, they're first in on-base percentage, first in team batting average, first in slugging percentage. This is a team that can put up some runs, and they probably feel great with Paxton on the mound, hoping that he can pitch well and they can put up some runs here against the Padres, who are handing the ball to Matt Waldron. He's 1-0 with a 5.82 ERA, so not exactly amazing numbers. His last time out, he got destroyed by the Arizona Diamondbacks. The start before that, he did not look great against the Cincinnati Reds, who've been a terrible hitting team lately. His start before that, he looks pretty good. We'll give him credit for that one against the Rockies. But it's the Colorado Rockies, guys. Like, they haven't been a good hitting team. So, in general, can't feel great about that. And while the Padres roster is loaded with talent, I mean, we're not seeing their offense look insane right now. It looked decent, but not crazy against the Chicago Cubs. It looked pretty good against the Diamondbacks. We'll give them credit for that series. But overall, I've just expected a little bit more out of them. They are third in the majors in runs scored, guys, and second in the majors in batting average. 8th in on-base percentage, getting on base at a 324 clip, so that's for sure respectable. Like, I'm not trying to degrade what they've done this season too much, but they're just not an offense that feels to be at the top level to me. Looking at the numbers for this game, we see the Padres are plus 125 at home, the Dodgers are minus 144, which with this pitching matchup definitely makes sense to me. We've got an over-under of 9 or 8.5, with both teams showing very slight trends towards the over, but we're not interested in the over in this one, guys. We're interested in the Dodgers minus 144. Again, no downside really to taking the Dodgers to win games. Obviously, I think they win this one maybe not the vast majority of the time, but very close to the vast majority of the time. We don't have a ton of faith here in Waldron. I mean, he's not a starter that's been looking that great this year, and the Dodgers obviously not having a huge offensive night last night. I think we can see them come through for a lot of runs in this one. So go ahead and give me the Dodgers minus 144. Definitely going to be one of our pinned comment plays. Last but not least, guys, we're looking at the Kansas City Royals going on the road to take on the Los Angeles Angels. These two teams are still playing as well. They're in the middle of the 8th inning right now. We see Kansas City is down 0-1, so too bad we didn't have the under in that game, but definitely the Royals still have a chance, so we'll see what happens. But they come into this game playing pretty well. They came into the series playing well and got off to a good start, winning 10-4. They're handing the ball in this one to Cole Rangans, who's off to a good start. He's 2-2 with a 3.38 ERA. He's looked very, very good over his last 3 starts. 2 of those were against the Toronto Blue Jays, who haven't been hitting the ball well, but his last time out against the Milwaukee Brewers, he looked very good, gave up only 2 hits, 2 earned runs on 6 innings, 8 strikeouts on that one, 2 walks. He's definitely looking good out there. We can trust him as a positive starting option, and I'm sure the Royals are hoping their offense can keep things rolling, although obviously in the game they're playing right now, not exactly rolling with 0 runs going into the bottom of the 8th, but they've won in their 2 games before that. They scored 6 and 10 runs respectively, so this offense definitely swinging some decent bats right now. We can feel good about that. They're not going to be an elite offensive team. There's no way that's going to happen, but they're in the top 10 in runs scored. They're middle of the road, at least in on-base percentage. Team batting average is slightly above league average, and their slugging percentage is well above league average, so they'll definitely take that, hoping they can put up some runs here going up against the Angels, who, I mean, they've only scored 1 run going into the bottom of the 8th, so, I mean, they definitely have the advantage right now, but they haven't been feeling great lately. They did win that series against the Pirates to give them a little bit of life, but things are not looking too hot for the Angels, who are only 14-24 on the season. handing the ball in this game to Tyler Anderson, who's 2-4 on the year with a 2.74 ERA. His last time out didn't look amazing against the Pirates. He gave up 4 earned runs on 6 hits over 6 1/3, and his start before that against the Phillies, he only gave up 3 earned runs over 6 innings, which against the Phillies is not terrible, but we've also seen the Angels go winless in his last 5 starts, so that can't feel great. He's been doing everything he can to keep them in games, but this offense just not very good. Mike Trout being out obviously has not helped, and yeah, without him, the Angels offense just is nothing special. As predicted, as would be very obvious, all their offensive numbers are plummeting, so we'll see what they actually end up like settling at, but I think this is going to be a well below offensive team, and that's for sure been the case so far this season. Even when Trout was out there, they didn't look that great, so not looking fantastic now. Looking at the numbers for this game, we see the Royals are minus 140, the Angels are plus 124, and we've got an over-under of 8 in this one. Looking at some of the other numbers, we've got a definite trend for the Angels. They're only 4-12 at home this season. Kansas City is 8-8 on the road. Being on the road is not really their strength for sure, but there's also some trends towards the under. We see Kansas City is 23-14-2 to the under. The Angels are 20-17-1 to the over this season, but those numbers got to take them with a grain of salt for sure. The over-under being at only 8 is a little bit annoying. If it was 8.5, I would definitely like it a lot more, but regardless, I think we like the under in this game a decent amount. We don't really like the Royals too much since the Angels are putting a great starter out there on the mound, so go ahead and give me under 8 in this one. We'll see if it makes it into the pinned comment. It's definitely got a shot. That's all the games we have for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all your bets and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. You can click the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com, and we will see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.